Hello, my lovelies. Happy Friday, friends. Welcome in to What About This, an extension of the Eighth and Grace podcast, where we are going to chat just enough to get us through lunch. Not an entire meal, but a bite sized snack, if you will. Think about this as a bestie convo to keep us going through the rest of our day. Are y'all ready? Let's go. Wear the shorts, eat the cheesecake, and know that God is in the small things. Hey, friends, welcome back to What About This, the off the cuff corner of Eighth and Grace podcast. You know, it's where we spill the tea that didn't make it to Tuesday, say the things we're not always sure we can say out loud, but probably we should. It's tender, and today's probably really yappy. And I was going to say a little ranty, but today this may just be a full blown ranting tangent, but it's always going to be rooted in grace. We can think of these like voice threads that I would send to you, my best friends, if we're talking about life, faith, friendship, hormones and heartbreak, hair rehab, holy ground, our favorite dry hair shampoo, because we're all trying to get a little bit crunchy, right? And the soul stuff in between, where the tangents are holy, the rants are real, and the sacred shows up wearing cutoff shorts and yesterday's mascara. Although today I have on my pajamas still. They're sacred bonus voice memos you didn't know you needed, stitched together with a claw clip and holy fire. Our chats are lighthearted and theologically rich, soft as a sea breeze, but deep as revival. It's not polished, it's not perfect, but it's real. And maybe that's exactly what you needed today, too. Because sometimes the leftovers are the best part. And I always have just one more thing to say. So imagine me texting you, like, okay, wait, what about this? Let's talk about it. And because it's Friday, y'all know it's unscripted, it's off the cuff, it's unedited, and it may just get loud in here. Our new bark box just came, and it is a backyard barbecue, and Winnie Pearl is like going nuts for this squeaker piece of pie, I guess. And I have tried to lock her in the living room. I have tried to make her stay out from under me, but she likes to be right under me, and she is squeaking this thing like it is her side hustle. And so if you hear something, it's not a mouse, it's not whimpering, it's just Winnie Pearl and this piece of pie. But if I take it from her, then there is going to be whimpering. So, and Jonah and Lucy are here with my Coco. So listen, it is just a full blown Friday in the Casa Dawson, and y'all know we are like a traveling circus, so it just is what it is. And today, she's full winded, given I really missed y'all Friday vibes, and I got a lot to fill y'all in on. Okay, deep breath. Did you take one? Deep breath. Just a take a deep breath kind of breath. The kind your body exhales when your spirit finally knows it's safe. We're here and we're together. Think about some breath work and think breath prayers because they're welcome here. And honestly, they're my jam. You made it. You made it to Friday, to this pocket of pause in the middle of your multitasking, dishwashing, laundry folded, calendar checking, what's for dinner kind of day. Maybe right even in the middle of your lunch hour. And I've done had my groons, my little superfood bear gummies this morning. Dan got me the sugar-free kind this time, but we're not even going to talk about that. And I am sitting here in my bed recording this morning with patches under my puffy eyes, dreaming about a peanut butter Nutella acai bowl, y'all. Tropical Smoothie in West Ashley probably knows my name and my order before I even say a word anymore. It's not an obsession, though. It's fine. It is fine. Maybe you're folding laundry right now, driving home, trying to sneak a moment of peace in between meetings. Wherever you are, you made it. We made it. And I am so glad you are here. And I want you to know we're not solving anything today. We're not solving anything here. We're just sitting with it. The detours, the delays, the daily grace we almost missed. So if you don't already have it, grab your lukewarm coffee. Mine's probably already like super cold. Throw your hair in a claw clip, pour your favorite iced tea, whatever. Oh, and while we're here, I just need to tell y'all this before we even really get started because your gal seminary is stretching me right now. It is kicking my butt in the best way this summer. My little brother just moved to Salt Lake City for work. My little sister's in Memphis for her internship, and my sweet little mama, y'all, she needs some prayer to hold it all together. That was just on my mind right now because they called me. They finally made it after their 33-hour drive to Salt Lake City. So my summer, it's doing the most right now, but so is God. My newly bag, it just came in hot. Y'all, I am so, so excited. So excited. And my best girl is coming into town next week. We're hitting the beach for the 4th. Then I'm off to Tennessee for 2 podcast recordings the week of July 7th. Then I'll be back home like, I think it's July 10th. And then I'm heading straight to Denver for a week of seminary intensive. And then it's to Florida at the end of July to speak at a conference. I'm so excited about the Open Cup Collective. If you can make it out to Florida, I would love to have you guys there. Whew. Okay. It's a swirl, it's a stretch. I got a lot of sacred chaos, but I would not have it any other way because this is the gospel message and I get to live it and carry it. We all get to live it and carry it. And I'm grateful, even in the overwhelm. And today, I just want to hold space for the parts of life that aren't all scheduled and shiny, the parts that feel a little undone, a little unseen, and a little in between. So, yeah, let's talk about all of that. And let's ask the questions we're still living through and holding space for. And let's hold space for faith in real time. This week, it has felt like the world is on fire. And I know that we've all felt it. The headlines are heavy, timelines are loud, and honestly, my heart has been aching. And I've been praying that we would just be people of courage and character and conviction, that we wouldn't just do what's comfortable, but what is right. And yet, right in the middle of all the chaos and all of the conflict, for us to know that there's still beauty breaking through. Because in all of this, God is still good. There's still sunlight, there's still wildflowers, and still evidence that He is near. So today, we are talking about what it means to see Him in the small things, to trust Him in all things, and to believe that even now, even here, He is who He says He is. I'm calling this our Helion season, and that comes from the word Helios. And this is going to be a golden stretch of days where the Spirit's voice is often softer. Did I say softer? I meant to say softer, but no less sacred. So if your heart is heavy but hungry for hope, if you're scrolling past sacred things without meaning to, this one's for you. And you've already noticed there's a little life updates mixed in. I mean, who doesn't want one? Life updates are fun, right? I know I always like to know what you've got going on. I want to know what everyone else around me has going on, but I'm a little nosy, so there's that. Okay. Have I said okay like more than once right now? I've got to stop doing that. We are working from a lost episode and a holy glitch from last week. There was no episode last Friday. And I love how y'all have messaged me asking me if you missed something. That lets me know that y'all are here with me. You asked me if yours was missing. And the real, this episode, it's actually just a week late. We didn't have one last week because the first time I recorded some of the things that I'm actually saying right now, like remembering from what I recorded last Friday, I recorded an episode. I was sitting in a hotel room in Raleigh. I had just finished like writing out some notes, prayed over it, and poured my little heart out over the mic. And do you want to know what happened? I hit the little red button to stop recording and it vanished. I am not even kidding. There was no file, no backup, just gone. I'm sitting there and, your gal can be a little drama queen. Like, I hate to admit that I'm drama or that, well, I mean, I I can be dramatic. Let's just say that. So anyway, I'm just sitting there and I was like, okay, surely this is just a one-off. And then I headed over to my friend Sherry's house the next day to record again. And you want to know what happened? More glitches, more silence, no episode. So that's what happened. Not only did we not have a Friday What About This episode, the episode that I went to record with her, no, nothing. But cool thing, here's what happened instead. We didn't record, but we prayed. Y'all, we laughed and we ministered to each other and we lingered with God. And you know what I realized? That's when I realized that God wasn't behind and it wasn't a mistake. He was actually ahead and he was slowing me down on purpose because sometimes our delay is the divine appointment. Have you ever thought about that? Like we get so upset and so angry, but sometimes things that don't happen in real time, right when we think they should, it's not God punishing us in any way. He's not withholding any good thing from us. That divine appointment, it was the delay. So I'm going to give y'all a little hotel room and hair rehab chaos. Let me take you back to last Thursday, and I'm going to set the scene for y'all, okay? Just picture this. So I checked into my corner room in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I had windows on two sides of the room. Lake Raleigh was like out there ahead, like surrounded by all these trees, and the water was glistening just like the pool. So the pool was right under me. There was a big, like, rock fireplace out there. There was Edison lights. I don't care if Edison lights can be attached to a trash can and your gal thinks it is a party. It's just beautiful to me. So Edison lights, it was just beautiful. And the light was just coming in through the windows. And I'm talking like it was just the kind of light that preaches a word and it's not even spoken. So I picked that room online because you can go online and you can pick your room. So I picked that line because I needed those windows. I needed the light. I needed that light let in because the 48 hours before that, y'all, it had been a lot. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I could sit here and talk to y'all all day about that. But the plan, it was to record a podcast, not a broadcast. It was to record a podcast, to pray, to walk around the lake, and order room service. And what actually happened? Holy comedy and some sacred chaos. And let's just start with my hair. So, I am deep in this hair rehab season, right? I have been using Pureology forever, like I own stock in the company. I don't, but and this isn't sponsored by them, but I love some Pureology. I love the smell, especially the conditioner, and I like how it has that little tingle. The lilac bottle, it smells like heaven, feels like hope. But my hair has been dry, and I'm talking like dry, dry, like a desert drought dry. I have been walking around looking like a hay bale in some denim shorts, and I'm not even kidding. And I was blaming my shampoo. Okay. So, trying all kinds of new shampoo. So, if y'all have like some Rex for your gal or you have some deets on some good shampoo, and I would like to try to start. Okay, I'm not going to be crunchy, but what is the next thing under crunchy? Like, what would that be? I don't know. Like peanut butter with peanuts in it. You still got a little bit of both. So if y'all have some recommendations from some shampoo, I need some. Anyway. Okay. So I was blaming my shampoo and then I started blaming my hormones. I am going to go to a holistic doctor and we're going to talk about some hormones. So once I go and get on some new hormone therapy, I cannot wait to tell y'all about it, especially for my gals that are perimenopausal, menopausal, all the things, my 35 and up gals. And then I started thinking, well, maybe it's Hashimoto's again. And then back to menopause, right? Because I'm going to tell you, she is always out here being rude and very unpredictable. So naturally, what did I do? I bought a fancy new shower filter for my house, right? Because we're renovating this house. We want to sell it and move. Can y'all just pray and believe with me right now that God is going to move us closer? We want to live like right on top of the marsh and we want to be within just a few minutes to ride our golf cart to the beach. So if y'all would just pray with me and believe that God is just moving us in that, there will be a coffee shop and a boutique and a ministry. So we need to move out of this place. So anyway, we did not do like a whole house filtration system here. So we're just putting them like on faucets. So I got a new fancy little shower head, y'all. It snapped my entire shower head off the wall. That filter just like literally snapped the whole, and I had one of those big square like shower rain heads. Yeah, now I don't. I have one from Amazon. Okay, so it snapped the entire shower head clean off the wall. No lie. And this didn't happen at a hotel. This happened at home before I went to the hotel. So before my trip, I'm already like swirling in chaos. We had just taken the babies to the museum. If you guys seen my stories on Instagram, y'all know that was fun. It was a good time, but five babies walking around in there. I mean, it's a lot. And they were loving grocery shopping and voting and all the things in there. But it was a lot. So before my trip, I'm already in chaos, but it's fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. I just couldn't shower. And I thought I showed up in Raleigh with a bag of hair products and my little head was full of hope, but really I forgot my shampoo at home, so the hotel line had to come in clutch. That first morning at the hotel, I finally got to wash my hair, not under a busted pipe, but in peace. So everything was going good, right? So afterwards, I wrapped my hair in a towel like I always do, slipped into, the cozy white robe that the hotel provides, put on the slippers, and sat down with my coffee by that wall of windows because the light, it was doing what it does. It was doing that holy thing it does. It was spilling across the water, laughing through the trees, and that was the room that there on the wallpaper, clear as day, my last name, Dawson. So I sat there, like that was wild. It was just like it had like streets or something. It's the coolest wallpaper in that bathroom. But anyway, I sat there in my robe, my hair was wrapped, my coffee was in my hands. I was undone and I was held. Just God. And he was whispering, I brought you here for this, for now. My room number at that first hotel was 444, and that's a whole thing for me, and it has been since 2019. So all of this just felt like it was supposed to be, right? And then I couldn't record. Anyway, okay, so that night at the hotel, I ordered cheesecake. Because if you know me, you know late night room service cheesecake is my comfort theology. And I know y'all heard me say a minute ago, I know that I can be drama, and I'll admit that. I'm cool with it. But if a hotel doesn't have it, I'm just not, I don't want to book it. It is my late night travel pleasure, and I can't help for it. It's comfort on a plate with some whipped cream and strawberries. And let me just tell you, that little slice of joy hit different. It wasn't just a dessert for me, it was a delight. Gal had a delight. And it was just felt like proof that God doesn't just show up in fire and flood, that He was right there with me and the crumbs on that nightstand. So the glitch, it became the glory. Because that next morning when I drove to my friend Sherry's house, she is the founder of Style by Color, and she is a Jesus loving storytelling powerhouse. We were supposed to record a full episode, but it glitched. The file was corrupted, our plan unraveled, and somehow, y'all, the spirit fell anyway. We cried, we laughed, but God, He wasn't late, He was lingering. And what felt like a failed recording turned into a sacred pause. And even though we didn't get to record, we prayed, we laughed, and we saw each other. And now, the really exciting part is in 2 weeks, she already had a planned trip to come to Charleston. So 2 weeks from today, we're going to meet again in Charleston at the beach this time for the conversation. See, God clearly didn't want it rushed. He knew that we were going to be able to be sitting there looking at the ocean waves and the sand and the salty air. So yes, this episode right now, it's a little late. And I am just kind of like filling in the gap that I didn't get to tell y'all last week because there was some stuff I really felt like I needed to say. And what's going on right now? Sometimes the gospel comes slower, softer, and guess what? It still comes because the enemy doesn't win just because this mic cut off. The story still gets told and the message still goes forth. That's a little kick in his teeth. That delay, it was divine. Now, okay, so now after Raleigh, we went to Charlotte. So drove to my friend Kristel's house and we did our episode recording at her house. And thank God her husband is everything AV production. So nothing failed at her house. So let's keep going on this little reflection. So then I drove to Charlotte. My newly box was in my back seat. I had my little linen sets in there. I had some coastal grandma energy going on. And I sat down with Kristel Acevedo and it was fire. If you did not listen to that episode from Tuesday, you want to go back and listen to it. We talked about wilderness seasons, about identity, about waiting. And here's the thing, I thought that whole trip was about the interview, and I realized this whole trip, it was about the interruption. Is that not so wild? Because sometimes God doesn't just show up in our plans, He shows up in the pause. So now I said we were in a Helion season. I have started calling this truly in 2019. God gave me this vision. This vision, it was so cool. And it was just this big sunflower and it was about the sun. And God gave me the word Helios and I looked it up. So from 2019, like all these things are just rocking back in and flooding back in right now. So this summer, I'm just calling it what it is. It's a Helion season, and it comes from the word helios, which is sunlight, radiance, and heat. But to me, it's not just about temperature, it's a theology of light, right? It's about seeing God in the shimmer, in the small, in the in between, in the detours and the delays. And it's where the fireflies are just as holy as the fireworks. From Raleigh to Charlotte to home again, it was a breadcrumb trail. Every detour, every delay, every broken thing, it was all leading me back to the heart of God. So, life right now, I'm home. My laundry is overflowing and still I feel full. Like I said, my little brother moved to Salt Lake City. That has been a lot. Been waiting to hear back from him and my mom to make sure everything's good there. My little sister is having the time of her life interning in Memphis. And my little mama does. She needs prayers, just holding it together right now. And Aiden got bit by a shark. So my boy, yeah, a real one, a real shark. But it was just on the finger. But y'all, Jesus help me with this one for real. And I said, seminary is stretching me. It is kicking my booty. I said stretching because that's just a kind way of saying kicking my booty. I'm so thankful that my best girl is coming in for a beach weekend because I need it, y'all. But then I'm going back to Tennessee, then Denver, then Florida. I'm going to give it everything I got and teach my little guts out because it is wild, it is sacred, and this is what I prayed for. So that was to catch you up. That was the life update. Now let's talk about some beauty in the chaos because this season, this summer, it's about noticing. We are not chasing the spectacular, but we are going to honor the ordinary. That is amazing. We are not going to look at everybody else's highlight reels and wish we were in them. We're going to know that we see God in the ordinary. We don't have to wait for a burning bush because we're going to be paying attention to when the breeze shifts. And if the world feels like it's on fire and the headlines are loud and the timelines are heavy, we're going to know that this season reminds us there's still beauty. Because it's not just about summer weather, it's about a theology of noticing. And I'm convinced that this is more than just a temperature, it's a theology of light. Because this season, this summer, it's not just about beach days and bright skies, it's not just about our vacations, it's about noticing what we usually scroll past and being intentional and living in the moment. Because every single day, there's an abundance of grace, there's an abundance of joy, and there's freedom in the right now, in the what we're scrolling past. It's about finding God in the glisten, in the quiet, and in the rinse and repeat rhythm of days that just don't look miraculous until you look again and then you notice. So if you've been asking where God is in the chaos, here's what I truly want to say to you today. Maybe He's been here all along. You just needed to slow down and see Him because He is the God of the small things. And we talk a lot about miracles and we talk about God in the miracles, but do we really trust the God of the minute? Do we trust God in the mundane? The God who shows up in our lavender candles when our chest is tight, in our breeze on our back porch when we're sitting there, just watching the breeze make the flowers like shift around when the leaves are moving. Do we know that He's there with us truly? Our little kiddos, if you have toddlers, if you have grandbabies, if you have big kids, He's in their laugh. He's in the way that lake was sparkling like it had a secret. He's the God of dandelions and daisies, of sunbeams through broken bonds. And He's the God of your little baby's belly laugh, or the friend who texts you right when he knows you need it. And sometimes I think we miss God because we're waiting for the fireworks. And He is whispering through the fireflies. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah was burned out and broken, and he was hiding in a cave. And he expected God in the wind, in the earthquake, and in the fire. But do you know how God came? In a whisper. Have you ever thought about that? I wonder how often we do the same. We're looking for Him in this big, bold, bright answer while missing the small yeses right in front of us. Like that breeze when your spirit feels tight. That scripture that just lands like salve when your soul is sore. Friend, the mundane isn't meaningless, and the ordinary isn't absent of glory, because our God is Emmanuel, God with us, not just in the storms, but in the summer. God came in a whisper. And maybe he still does. And maybe this Helion season, this summer, the whisper is the miracle because we can trust him in all things. And here's the hard truth wrapped in hope. If we only trust God in the big things, we are going to struggle to recognize him in the daily ones. The same God who parts the seas is the one who keeps showing up in your wilderness. And the question isn't, is he here? The question is, are we looking? Psalm 19 says that the heavens declare the glory of God and the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Every sunrise can be a sermon. I am a sunset chaser. I would like to say that I'm a sunrise chaser. I'm not always up with the sunrise. You guys don't get up with the chickens, even though my neighbor, because we love our neighbors. We're supposed to love our neighbor. Even our neighbors that are hard to love. And my neighbor has some chickens, and maybe there's even a rooster that likes to tell me when it's time to get up. And maybe I could be noticing the sermon in the sunrise if I would just listen to that little cock-a-doodle-doo. But anyway, okay. Every ocean wave is a reminder that he sets boundaries even for chaos. So even when life feels slow, when it feels like it's getting sideways, we still get to practice trust. And not just the trust that says God will give me what I want, but the trust that says God is who he says he is. Even when the miracle looks different, even when the answer is delayed, and even when the healing is still halfway through. That same God who parts the sea is the same God who gives us just enough manna. And that same God who raises the dead is the one who meets you in your Target run. Or that moment in the car where the song just hits different and you suddenly remember, he's still with me. And everybody sitting beside you at a red light is watching you do your holy worship and praise, a whole praise break. And they're just looking at you like, are you going to go? Maybe that's just me. But he's still with me. And he's still with you. And he is the one who meets you while you're sitting there folding your laundry, while you're singing in your car, while you're walking through your neighborhood with your weighted vest on, when that evening sun hits just right. Because the heavens declare the glory of God. And that means the sky's preaching, the lake is testifying, and your slow mornings, they're the best place for sacred ground. And if your miracle looks more like holding on than moving forward, guess what? It still counts. It's still holy, and it's still Helion. So what if the miracle is that you're still here? You're still breathing, you're still choosing joy, and you're still becoming. Because what if this is not about chasing a new thing, but finally receiving what's already ours? Joy, rest, presence, and some good old cheesecake. Jesus didn't just teach us from the mountaintops, y'all. He was right there on the beach with some fish. He was right there in the valley. He noticed the flowers. He met tired women at wells, and he changed their entire story. And he still does. So if your miracle doesn't look like a breakthrough, if it looks like just breathing, if it looks like barely holding on, or if it looks like waiting, that is still holy. And this is still Helion. I had written on my Instagram last week, and maybe even my Substack, that I used to hide my legs, and not out of modesty, but out of shame. And y'all, I thought every whisper, and this is no lie, I literally thought that if I was out wearing shorts or in a bathing suit or in a dress that was above my knees, that every whisper was about me. Not because I'm vain like that, and not because bet you think this song is about you. You're so vain. Okay. I don't know why every time this mic is in my hand, I think I need to sing, but I do. But it wasn't like that. It was because every glance carried judgment in my heart. My thighs were too much, they were too loud, and they disqualified me for joy. I buried every pair of shorts I owned in the drawer. wrapped towels around my insecurities at the pool, and I kept my joy muted and my presence edited. But healing, it doesn't always look like a smaller body, not yet. Sometimes it looks like a softer heart, and it looks like choosing to live unhidden, to take up space with laughter and linen pants, to walk through summer unashamed, even if your legs still wobble with a little wonder. And these legs, because we all got legs, they've carried me through heartbreak, held babies, stood in pulpits, walked through hospital rooms and hallways. And they're not small, they're not perfect. I'm walking with a limp, but they're no longer hiding. And I'm no longer walking in shame. So now the shorts are on, the joy is loud, and Jesus, he gets all the glory. This summer, even if it's the summer of our of our bodies not shrinking, this is the summer of knowing that we're seen because he sees us. We can wear the shorts. We can eat that piece of cheesecake. Not all the time, but we can have it. My dogs are barking at each other. And they're fighting over their toys. God is good and he is in the small things. So I'm looking ahead to a full week. I don't know what y'all have on tap, but I'm looking ahead to a full week and still holding fast to the goodness of this moment. That conference I was telling you about in Florida at the end of July is July 25th and 26th, where I get to speak and carry the gospel with trembling, joy, and bold conviction, y'all. It's an honor and a responsibility to carry the gospel into every room I walk in. So as I prepare to pour out, I'm also learning to sit and still be poured into, to receive the beauty of now, to trust this process, and to know that God is still forming something sacred in this Helion summer. Because this isn't just about summer vibes, it's about resurrection rhythms. This is about remembering that the gospel isn't just true in our theology books, it's true in our lives, and we live it every day. And I want you to save the date. The Eighth and Grace Beach Retreat for the Soul is coming February 24th to the 28th, 2026 in St. Augustine, Florida. I'll have more details to come. I'm so excited. But a little hint as to why it's that date, the podcast will be turning 1 and it's my birthday. So we are going to be celebrating together and we have been planning so much for that retreat. I do not want you to miss it. I want you to be with us. We have space right now for 40 and we have 3 houses side by side and they each have a pool and we're there at the beach. It is going to be such a time of community. And if you want to go, um, comment here or message me on Instagram. You can email me, you can DM me, get on my Substack, however you want to, but let me know if you want to go. Okay, little exhale now. Sometimes the best way to keep going is just to come away, y'all. One more thing I want to update y'all with is starting next week, all Tuesday episodes should have video with the audio in Spotify and YouTube. Notice I said should have because something could happen, but all of our episodes should have the video with them next week. And I want to let y'all know one of my favorite things I can't live without right now is my piranha mat. If I can influence you in any way, look into that. Make sure you have an ice roller and some eye patches. And we're going to have a little summer rhythm for our soul. I want to leave you today with another rhythm list for this Helion season, for this Helios summer. Not a to-do list, not a hustle list, but a holy invitation to slow down and see again, inspired by what I've been sensing and the goodness of that yellow and pink little joy collage about a little beach aesthetic that I posted on my Instagram that's sitting right next to me. That's what inspired this. A little summer rhythm for the soul. Are y'all ready? I'll also have this as a download, but we'll go over our little rhythm. Hope y'all are liking these wrists and these wrists. Hope y'all like my wrist. Hope y'all like these lists and these little summer rhythms that I have been working on and including. I just think they're so fun. And it just gives us some ideas and things that we haven't always thought about. So, what's on tap for a summer rhythm? Wake up slow. On the days that you don't have to, have no alarm, just light through the blinds and gratitude before the grind. And I know that's not every morning. Not everybody's off for summer, but on the weekend or on a day when you don't have to work, get you some fresh flowers and put them on the table. Even if they're from Trader Joe's, they're $4. If they're from your backyard, if they're from Publix or the Food Line, it does not matter. You will thank me later if you keep some fresh flowers on your table. Have you a morning coffee with Jesus. Not a rushed coffee, not scrolled through. Just sip slowly with the Savior. Put your phone down, turn it over, and just sit there with Him. Ocean breeze moments. I know not everybody lives near the ocean. Some people, you may just go to the ocean like once a year, or maybe you go every 3 months or 6 months. It don't have to be the ocean. Just find you some water, some stillness, or even a fan blowing in your face and call it sacred, honey. Blow you a little mist with a little spray bottle, a little trickle, whatever. But there is just something about water and a breeze that just will take you to the place. Get you some good skincare, and while you put it on, allow that to just soak in as soul care. Anoint your face like it matters because it does, especially if you're past 25. Take the picture, even if you're in your swimsuit, especially if you're in your swimsuit. I'm not saying like be all like nude, like provocative and naked and stuff. I'm just saying don't let what you think you look like keep you from being in the moment or being in the memory. Y'all know I'm selling them juice popsicles. I'll have to show y'all my little molds. They're just like little joy snacks. And we are loving watermelon. I'm telling y'all, we are eating watermelon like we grow them out here in the backyard. I don't know why. My whole family, we are just addicted. Some of us like it with salt, some of us like it plain, and some of us like it with a little tahini on the rim. But we are eating it. It's just something about it makes you feel like a little kid, maybe. And wear the straw hat. It's good to keep the sun at bay. It's good to keep the sun off the scalp because we don't think about that. And they're cute. Wear your little straw hat and let the sun just kind of kiss the bottom of your cheeks and your chin like you're still becoming. And play the song. You know the one. That one song that makes you dance in your kitchen or cry in your car. That one. Play that one because your soul needs it. And tell the story. Even if your voice shakes, tell it. Because every picture holds a story untold. And let this be your exhale. Let it remind you you don't have to chase the miracle. You're already walking in it. Okay, my lovelies, my friends, I love y'all so big. That's it for today's Friday episode. That was pretty long. That was like all the things that are just like swirling in my mind from last week and this week. So that was more than like a little salad bite. That wasn't an appetizer or a little share plate. That was probably your whole lunch. But would you do me a favor? If this episode met you today, if it made you exhale, if it made you whisper, same, girl, same, at any time, if you were like, girl, me too, or it made you think about God just in your ordinary, would you send this episode to a friend? Maybe she needs a Helios season. Maybe she's wondering if the small things even still matter. You could leave a quick review on Apple or Spotify. Just a few kind words and those stars are so important because they help more women find this space where faith meets the fallout and grace rewrites the story. And subscribe to my Substack. I'll link it below. There's always musings of grace, poetic rhythms, little love notes, and sacred pauses delivered straight to your inbox. I'm also going to start doing a newsletter from the website, from the blog. So that's an opportunity for you to get like some behind the scenes. I share things there that I may not even say on the podcast or on any of my other socials, and you'll always be the first to know. It's kind of like the Insiders Club. And tag me at Brandy A. Dawson if you eat some cheesecake. If you have a cheesecake moment or sunshine snapshot, and just use a little hashtag Helion season so I can see what God is doing in your corner of the world too. And lastly, I do not take it lightly that you are stewarding your time by listening to this podcast and the words that are coming from my mouth, from my heart. Thank you truly from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for helping me carry this good message. I love living out the gospel in real time with y'all. God is who he says he is, even here, even now. So, what about this? A sacred summer voice memo from my soul to yours. Let's keep noticing the light together. Until next time, bye.